Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we're continuing our year-end review series today, taking a look at the most overrated cards of 2021. Most of this will just be bashing myself. I'll try and put in the community's expectations as well in there. But yeah, if you're not aware, we are doing a review series where we'll all build up to the New Year's Eve year-end award show, where there's rumored to be a Blizzard employee possibly showing up, maybe other people. Nova will definitely be there, and it should be a lot of fun to celebrate the last year, 2021, of Hearthstone. Look at all the best cards, worst cards, best decks, all sorts of stuff like that. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you'll be able to join me. So hit that sub button so you don't miss that video. So today we're going to take a look at all the overrated cards, the most overrated cards per class from 2021. Again, this is from all cards released in either Dark Moon Races, the Dark Moon Fair mini set, the core set, Forged in the Barrens, United at Stormwind, and Fractured in Alterac Valley. And well, let's take a look at it, but class by class, what I feel were the most overrated cards of 2021. And well, I'm ready to make fun of myself pretty heavily. So, starting off with Demon Hunter. Honestly, Demon Hunter wasn't a lot of cards that were super overrated. A lot of it was like, it's going to be pretty good or strong, and well, a lot of the Demon Hunter stuff has been pretty good or strong. I will go, however, with Sigil of Reckoning, the 5-mana Sigil spell that cheats out a big demon from your hand. I felt like this would be a lot bigger player. Cheating out like a Pit Commander or King Rush could just be an incredibly powerful effect, but it just hasn't really been that insane. It's seen some play in Standard, but for the most part fell off very quickly and hasn't seen a resurgence, and I just thought personally this would do a lot better. But overall, none of Demon Hunter stuff has really fizzled, done that poorly, and well, I gotta pick something from Demon Hunter, so I'm gonna go with that. Next we have Druid, and a card I grossly overrated. I know a lot of other top players did as well. I thought it'd be insane. I thought it'd be nuts. I gave him 5. I was like, he's broken. You can't miss. And that's Guff Rune Totem. 3-mana 2/4. After you cast a nature spell, give a random minion +2/+2. I'm just like, you play this with Innervate. It's free stats, Lightning Bloom, free stats, Nature Studies. This is gonna get out of control so quickly. It's so good. It's so good, and has seen almost zero play outside of like the recent Scam Druid where you play like the Horde legendary and cheat it out, and even that wasn't amazing. And yeah, Guff there's just not enough minions to hit in Druid. You rather just go wide with spells or just scam with like Anaconda strategies. On paper, he seems incredible, but he never really lived up to it. And the other Guffs, the Quest and the new hero card have all done a heck of a lot better than him. And I thought he would be broken. I legit thought he was going to be busted, and well, I was wrong as well. We'll see a lot more later on. I've been wrong a lot as well. Next with Hunter, I feel like there weren't a ton of cards again that were grossly overrated. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of decent stuff, and well, I settled on the Rat King. I love the Rat King. I even put him in my top like 5 powerful standard cards because I was so hopeful that the Rat King would be good as a 5-mana 5/5 legendary, and he dies, he goes dormant, and when 5 things die, he comes back and you can get more of them, and it's really cool, super flavorful, and just it hasn't worked. This card hasn't worked because his entire run, the board hasn't been super relevant. And if the board is super relevant and he's constantly trading and coming back, then he'd probably be pretty fantastic. But the metagame just has not existed for the Rat King to be, well, a king of the board, an awesome card, one of the best flavorful cards out there, and it makes me sad. And I overrated him. I even said at the time, I'm probably being optimistic about this, and I was. And so far, to me, the Rat King definitely overrated, at least by me. I don't know if other people were overrating him, but I really wanted him to work out. For Mage, what's an overrated card? Well, most of the Mage cards suck this year. To be honest, it's been all like Spell Mage and Quest Mage and basically nothing else. And I'll just say Rune of the Archmage, the 9-mana spell that casts 20 mana worth of stuff. I cannot count how many times I've tried this card, and it does almost nothing. It can cast the Ice Blood Tower twice. I've seen that. 20 mana 2 times. You're pretty sad. And this is like the payoff, the big payoff outside of the hero card. It's such a good payoff. They didn't put a tribe on it, I guess for fear that if you play Dawn Grasp and recast, it'd be too good. But Big Spell Mage is terrible, and a big part of it, in my opinion, is that Rune of the Archmage is just a terrible payoff card, and I just think it sucks. I think the card's been bad, and I feel like a lot of people like, this is the card that's gonna make big spell mage good. It's like puzzle box. It's just, no, 10 random spells are just way better than 20 mana worth of just crappy mage spells. And I feel like a lot of us just, we saw it as a puzzle box. We're like, you know, Rune of the Archmage is insane, or it'll be good, and I feel like it's just not that good. And for me, it's probably the most overrated mage card, but again, not horribly overrated or anything. It's just, you know, mages kind of sucked most of the year, and very little has worked outside of, you know, mana cheat spells that can go face. Next we have Paladin, which again wasn't really overrated much, because almost all the Paladin cards are really good and have seen play. And I'll just say, Dun Baldar Bridge, the objective, 4 mana, and then after every minion you summon for the next 3 turns, it gives +2/+2. This is so much stats. You play this in arena, you win the game. You play this like on ladder, I haven't seen it yet. I legit have not seen it yet, because Paladin already has a billion stats with their Librams, their hand buffs, and all this. You just don't need it. It's a great card that a lot of people thought would probably spawn like a token Paladin that would be good enough, but turns out Paladin just has so much incredible stuff. They don't really need, you know, 4 mana do nothing. They just play as something that immediately buffs anyways. Like, it's just not efficient enough. And Paladin has such a ridiculous resource of tools right now. It just doesn't need this. I expect this to be a player in the future for sure, but right now it's not the player that a lot of people thought it would be, because, well, Paladin is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And this card seems very good. It's probably a very good card, but I gotta give it an overrated rating when it just really doesn't see much play yet. Next for priests. I made a video on this one. I lost it. Seek Guidance, the priest quest. I'm like, what are they doing? They're killing control with this. I mean, I was right, control would get killed, but it wasn't by Seek Guidance. And I'm like, it's so easy to complete. You just play on curve, and then you just play a card that wins the game. What were they thinking? And Seek Guidance, I mean, it's seen play. It's not like it's unplayable garbage. It's seen play in both standard and wild, but it's not this game-breaking win the game card. It's just way slower than all these other win the game cards that don't just actually say win the game, like the Demon Seed, like the Mage Quest, all of that. It was just not good enough. But to be fair, actually, this isn't that fair. I think the Demon Seed have been revealed already. You know what? I'm not going to excuse myself on this. Past Zeddy, you're a moron, you're a doofus, and you lost your mind over this, but thankfully that's the last time on this list this appears at all. I certainly didn't lose my mind on the next one. And by the way, we have a guest to talk about that one. And we come to Rogue, and well, what card do you think is on that list? Yeah, Scabs Cutterbutter, Nova's nemesis. She's freaking out just seeing Scabs on the screen for some reason. I mean, I made a whole video about, are they losing their minds over Scabs Cutterbutter? The ridiculous mana cheat it would provide. Rogue is already in a really good spot. And well, he's not particularly a bad card. Heck, he sees play in like Quest Rogue, Burgle Rogue. He's decent, but for me, I thought he was going to be the card that just breaks the game yet again. In the same expansion that Efficient Octobot came out, Field Contact came out, and I was losing my mind over Scabs. And yeah, definitely not the most powerful game-breaking card on ladder. Although in Wild, you got the whole Pillager Rogue going with that OTK that Scabs enables. But overall, probably not worth freaking this little girl. Well, not little girl out. So next we have Shaman. Shaman, again, a class that's done incredibly well after basically Forge of the Barons, it sucked. And then the mini set came out and Shaman's been great ever since. And well, one of the cards that I felt like got overrated by quite a few people, just because it looks incredible on paper, is Brukan. Brukan, 4 mana 5/4, so premium stats, and you get nature spell damage +3. That's gotta be good, right? You can use it with, like, I don't know, Lightning Bolt or Dunk Tank, and incredible finisher. No, it really hasn't been. There's even a diamond version of the card I've never used outside of achievement hunting, and you cannot get this off like Primordial Studies, so you can't even it's just not good, not great. And for a card they made a diamond version of, it's quite surprising, although the most recent Mage Legendary as well is diamond and doesn't see much play yet either. And yeah, Brukan just looked like an insane finisher or just a good resource card, and I honestly don't know if I've seen him in any competitive deck in the entire year. Like, that's how unimpactful he's been. And it's kind of sad because people had pretty high expectations for him. Next, we have Warlock, and Warlock's been insane outside of Forge of the Barons, where it was actually bad. Remember that? Wasn't that long ago, Warlock was bad, and we're like, can you help Warlock out? And like, can you not help Warlock out by the end of the year? It's kind of crazy. I'm going to go with a card that's really good. This card's insane. This card would be a meta dominant, super crazy card if the meta actually required board clears after 6, because you're dead basically, or got to win by then. It's Entitled Customer. I gave this like one of my highest marks. I said it'd be one of the best cards in Standard Wild, and it has seen very, very little play in either format. Only like really in like Even Lock and Reno Lock in Wild, and Even Lock was definitely valid and a lot of people didn't run it, and Reno Lock just hasn't been that good, and Standard you haven't bothered because it's too slow. It's too slow. A 6 mana basically guaranteed board clear with the body, too slow. And we were all gushing over this card, but we were gushing over it with, you know, old metas in mind. And Hearthstone evolved to such a crazy state of a game that Entitled Customer just hasn't really seen almost any competitive play in Standard and very little in Wild. It's insane that a card this good on paper and really is this good. Like, you get this in Arena, it's unbelievable. But yeah, it's actually one of the more overrated Warlock cards because, well, it just doesn't fit in. For Warrior in Forge of the Barons, there was this whole taunt package given, and Morshan Elite looked phenomenal. You just attack, and then you get 2 4/4s, and you have like conditioning and all these hand buff things. That's got to be sick, right? Like, this is really easy to set up. It curves right into with Sword Eater, incredible. And saw play for like a week and hasn't returned since. It's just not impactful enough. It's still too situational, and you really need the hand buffs for this to work out. And yeah, Morshan Elite, a lot of people thought Taunt Warrior, myself included, would finally be a realistic deck in Standard. It had been way back in the day with like the old like Ungoro quest, but it had been a long time since Taunt Warrior had been a player, and we've seen even more Taunt support throughout the year. And even with that, Morshan Elite has not emerged again at all as any bit of a Standard player, and a lot of us thought it would be really good. And for the neutrals, I gotta go with another card that I just like, I thought was, I think I clickbaited clickbaited with the best neutral legendary ever, and honestly, it wasn't really clickbait to me. I thought this card was going to be insane, and that's Cornelius Rome, 6 mana 4/5. At the end of your at the end and start of every player's turn, you basically draw a card. So it's guaranteed to draw 2 cards, and then it can draw more and more. And some people are like, well, maybe it won't be that good because, you know, you'll fatigue yourself. That actually wasn't the issue at all. The issue is it's 6 mana, and every class is way cheaper draw now. Like, every class can basically rip through their deck for 1 or 2 mana. Why do you need Cornelius? The only classes that kind of struggled were like Paladin. So that's kind of where he popped up. He popped up a little bit in the meta. He saw play. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't this auto-include neutral legendary that I thought would pop into so many different decks. Because, I mean, a year ago he would have. 2 years ago he definitely would have. Like, any other meta he probably would have. But the Hearthstone we know today, Cornelius is one overrated neutral legendary by this doofus. So there you go. Those are my picks. Again, let me know what you think were the most overrated cards of the year, or what I overrated and I haven't fessed up to. You can always call me on my shenanigans. I always appreciate that. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.